Islanders from A&M-Corpus Christi represent the final non-conference tune-up for Oklahoma State before Big 12 play tips off after Christmas. Hi there, everyone. Alongside former Cowboy Brendan Manzer, I'm Mike Wolf. You know, the Cowboys are 9-2, coming off an impressive win at Wichita State, and Brad Underwood's return to his home state. And Brendan, we're really starting to see the stamp that he's putting on this program.
Well, I think the players are starting to understand what Coach Underwood wants. He's starting to know his personnel. Substitution patterns are intact, and I think that's important as a former player to know what situations you're going to be in. But they're making an impact at both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively, among some of the nation's best, and got to continue to play well. This is a springboard into when it really matters next week when West Virginia comes in this building.
Let's talk about our featured players. First, for the Islanders, Rashawn Thomas. He's a guy that can block shots, and he can certainly score points.
Well, he affects the game in a lot of different ways. He's really a unique player because he's big, and as you said, he can hurt you inside. But he is second on the team in assists. He blocks shots. He is a game changer and really one of the most dynamic players in all the country. Oklahoma State obviously concerned about the ways that he can hurt them here this afternoon.
And he's a 6'8" senior from Oklahoma City Southeast. On the other side of the coin, Jeffrey Carroll comes off the bench. Great sixth man, had 22 points in the win over the Shockers.
Yeah, one of the best players coming off the bench in the country, and his progression has been remarkable. He had those 22 points on just 10 shots against Wichita State. He's had 2 double-doubles this year. He's 6th in the Big 12 Conference in rebounding. Remarkable play that he is giving Coach Brad Underwood, and they'll need him to continue that as we head into conference.
All right, time to hear what Brad Underwood's keys to victory are. For that, let's check in with Allison Gappa.
Thanks, guys. I did talk to Coach Underwood before the game. He said a big key for this game will be rebounding because of the size advantage Oklahoma State does have over this team. Offensively, he wants to push the tempo. He knows that the Islanders' bench isn't very deep, so he wants to wear them out quickly. And on defense, he wants to contain Rashawn Thomas. He's the Islanders' leading scorer, plays somewhat of a point forward position, initiating a lot of their offense. Underwood wants to shut that down, guys.
All right, the Islanders were a 25-win team last year, 7-3 this year. The Cowboys trying to notch win number 10 on the season while the starting lineups and the tip from Gallagher-Iba Arena in Stillwater after this on Fox. Oklahoma State Cowboy basketball is brought to you by Verizon, the exclusive wireless provider of OSU athletics. Mercy, your life is our life's work. By Oklahoma Farm Bureau, we're the same Oklahoma Farm Bureau you've always trusted, now even better. And by OG&E, power at the speed of life. These starting lineups brought to you by Express Employment. First for the visiting Islanders, Joe Kilgore, Cole Martinez, Ehab Amin in the backcourt. You also have Kareem South, a freshman surrounded by 2 juniors and 2 seniors, including all Southland Conference Player of the Year, Rashawn Thomas, from a season ago. For the Cowboys, Juwan Evans, Phil Forte, the veteran Cowboy, Lindy Waters, and Lucas Gasson, 2 freshmen in the starting 5. For the Oklahoma State Cowboys, tonight's officials, Kip Kissinger, Chris Rastatter, and Byron Jarrett. And for today's Mercy Health Report, let's check in with Allison.
A slightly hyperextended left knee that occurred in the practice on Friday before the Wichita State game. He tried to play that game but has not practiced since and will not suit up today. Tyler Underwood had a nasal fracture as well as a concussion in the Rogers State game. He's been cleared and is good to go today. That's your Mercy Health Report, guys.
All right, thanks, Allison. Willis Wilson, the head coach at Rice, the head coach previously at Rice in his 6th season with the Islanders. Of course, Brad Underwood with a win today becomes 1 win shy of 100 for his college coaching career in just his 4th season as a head coach at this level. The tip-off noon here. The final non-conference game for the Cowboys, and they control it. Evans with the basketball.
And just to touch on the Cam McGriff injury, if this were a West Virginia played game today, he would play. But sitting him out gives another 8 days for that knee to heal. The most important part of the season, obviously, Mike, as we all know, begins December 30th with Big 12 conference play.
Shot clock at 6 for the Cowboys. Evans will drive, put it up off the glass, and good. Cowboys on the board.
Well, Evans, along with his teammates Saturday night at Wichita State, were absolutely terrific at both ends of the floor. And then just when you have a guy that can keep his dribble alive and extend possessions when it seems there's nothing, It's a big luxury to have in Evans.
Forte will drive. He'll dish. Corner three. Off the mark. Battle for the rebound. It's out of bounds to A&M-Corpus.
And Corpus Christi, a team that has a chance to win the Southland Conference.
There's the Islander bench. Coaching staff, we mentioned Willis Wilson in his 6th season with the Islander program. And of course, they are out of the Southland Conference. So Coach Brad Underwood very familiar with this program. Spent 3 years competing against them as Gasson gets called for a goaltend, and we're tied at 2.
And Coach Wilson also familiar with Brad Underwood, and that was something that we talked this afternoon. Tells you where I am this morning with Coach Underwood. And he was concerned with Corpus Christi, like Oklahoma State, although they do it a different way. They're going to really try to make you uncomfortable, get you out of your offense.
Well, Coach Underwood's Lumberjack teams at Stephen F. Austin 53-1 in Southland Conference play. Of course, he was the 2016 Southland Conference Coach of the Year, but their only loss came to these Islanders 2 seasons ago on Valentine's Day.
I mean, how do you go 53-1 in any conference? That's an unbelievable record. I don't care at what level, Division I or what sport. And what that really tells you, Mike, is that Brad Underwood teams do not take nights off or games off. I mean, he preaches everyday guys, and so that translates into every game guys.
South kicks it out. Open shot from Kilgore for 3, and the Islanders up 5-2.
Well, along with Thomas, who's really talented, you have a couple of veteran guards in Kilgore and Amin. They both have some size, too. Kilgore's 6'5". He can rise up and shoot over the top.
Cowboys got the opening bucket, but 5 straight by the Islanders. Good cut, and Waters lays it in.
Well, good execution right there. Waters with the lay-in. And if you have been following Oklahoma State basketball very much up to this point, Lindy Waters gives him a kind of a calm presence out there in the starting lineup. And then what Brad Underwood will do is he'll bring in Jeffrey Carroll off the bench. Has become one of the best substitution guys in the country.
Here's a look at that last possession.
Oklahoma State's offense. That's just a great backdoor cut. And Gasson, patient right there in the pinch post, letting it develop. Waters makes the good cut.
The 2 freshmen combining to produce the points on that last possession. Shot up and down by Rashawn Thomas, and it's 7-4 Islanders.
Thomas has a chance to be a pro. Now, whether that's the NBA level, that remains to be seen. But there's no question next year he's going to make money somewhere. I mean, he's really good, skilled in a lot of different ways.
Had 25 points and 22 points in their last 2 games as Gasson gets on the board.
It's Gasson, another one of those 5 freshmen for Brad Underwood who are making an immediate impact. And not just playing time, but playing time in meaningful minutes during the game.
Well, the freshmen account for 40% of the Cowboys' scoring output. Thomas drives, a foul called on the drive on the Cowboys.
Now, Gasson, his 7th straight start. And I saw some early season practices, and I thought Gasson was a guy that obviously in time was going to help Oklahoma State. He just, as you can see, he's slight in his frame. But where he went from about November 1 to November 10 in between exhibition games was unbelievable, his progress.
Amin pulls up from 17 feet and knocks it down. Hot start shooting-wise for Corpus Christi. They lead it by 3.
And Amin, you know, at 6'4" and a guard, he does all his work inside the arc. And here's Evans, you know, sensing that Corpus Christi has a little bit of confidence right now. What you'll see Evans do a lot, Mike, immediately he'll go force the issue.
Cowboys have been very creative off the inbounds passes. Very successful at that as well. Back to Evans. And reaching in for the steal was Amin. He'll go and lay it in. And the Islanders are up 5 with 16:20 to go first half.
And like Brad Underwood, Willis Wilson has always had teams that do a terrific job of forcing turnovers.
And Forte splashes from 3.
Boy, that's good to see, because Forte only shooting 32% from three-point range. And if not for some good shooting games earlier in the year, that would be lower as of late.
Thomas shuffles his feet. Turnover on the Islanders, which brings us to our first timeout.
Well, this is what you have to do, Mike, when you're that size. Use a ball fake, get the defense out of position, knock it down. Good to see from Phil Forte.
Welcome back. I mentioned the hot shooting start by the Islanders. In fact, both teams off to a good start. Cowboys have made 4 of their first 5. The Islanders 5 of 6, which is incredible when you consider they played a game less than 48 hours ago on the West Coast.
Yeah, St. Mary's, who's ranked 19th in the country. I mean, that's a quick turnaround. They had a travel day all day from the West Coast. See the series history there between Oklahoma State and the Islanders. But this is a good team. 1 through 4, Corpus Christi's got a nice squad. When you get down to 7 and 8, there's a little bit some depth issues. What Coach Underwood is hoping, as Allison said in the open, is over time they really want to wear down this team. It's not surprising that here early on, Texas A&M-Corpus Christi is hanging with Oklahoma State.
Can't leave him open. Around and out. Follow good. Underneath by Jeffrey Carroll. That guy's everywhere.
There's one of the biggest reasons he's one of the most improved players in the country. He scores 22 points on 10 shots at Wichita State the other night. And that's easy to do when you're getting offensive rebounds and getting to the line. Look at him right there on the glass.
Yeah, goes up high for the rebound on the miss by Amin. Now trying to score. It's off the back rim, no good. Good battle for the board. Mitchell Solomon pulls it down, and he's fouled.
That was a really good rebound for Solomon out of his area. And there's one thing. It's one thing to get a rebound when it's in your area. To leave your area on the offensive glass and go get it is another. Solomon, excellent Saturday at Wichita State. Played 27 minutes and didn't put up huge numbers. But Brad Underwood very happy with his progression over the last 2 or 3 games. He's starting to gain a lot of confidence and understand what Coach Underwood wants out of him.
Solomon hands it off to Evans. He'll drive. Too strong. Battle for the board pulled down by Rashawn Thomas. And a nice drive to put the Islanders back up by Amin. Solomon banging the boards early off the bench. Held ball called. It'll belong to A&M-Corpus.
You know, 2 things. One, Thomas leads the break. He's the 5-man. That's how impressive he is. Here's the second thing. There's a noticeable difference in the aggressive play of Mitchell Solomon. I mean, he is attacking the offensive glass. You know, one of the things he's understanding, too, is that 3/4 of shots either go to the weak side or to the middle. And you'll watch Solomon. He is going to areas that are available, much like the old Moses Malone used to do way back in the day. And you'll be surprised if you just play the percentages, you'll find yourself in position to get rebounds.
Good passing and a good block underneath. Cowboys defending well on that possession. Averett, who checked in high off the glass, he's fouled. Solomon follow will not count. And Averett coming off a good week.
Yeah, especially that performance set now been, Mike, week and a half ago in Tulsa. No Juwan Evans, a banged up Phil Forte. Obviously, no Tavares Shine. We haven't talked about that. I mean, that's another piece that could really help the Cowboys. Averett steps up big at the Tulsa game. And I think Coach Underwood is gaining the type of confidence in him that I think as conference play goes, you're going to see Evans and Averett in there together. And you think about kind of ball hawking defensively those two can do to opposing teams. And that will help because the Big 12 has some of the best guards in the country.
Averett makes them both. He was the first signee for Brad Underwood here at Oklahoma State. Leans shot swatted by Solomon. Cowboys with a chance to take the lead. 3 from the wing, too strong. And a travel called on the rebound. on Alex Holcomb, the freshman from Houston.
Back in for the Islanders.
Brings South back off the bench, freshman from Toronto. (13-13) our score with 13:45 remaining here in the first half. Offensive foul whistled on Mr. Hammonds.
The Cowboys. Number 41, Mitchell Solomon, his first fourth team foul.
Yeah, I didn't see it, Mike. I was watching the action away from the ball. We got Solomon on that one. And Brad Underwood talked a lot today, extensively, when I asked him about Solomon. One of the things he elaborated on is how great and willing of a screener that he is. He's really helped Oklahoma State's offense flow because of that. You're unsung. When you do those type of things, I mean, you're not getting highlights put up on the scoreboard for setting screens.
Third turnover whistled on Corpus Christi, and the Cowboys forcing 20.6 turnovers a game, second in the country.
Behind West Virginia.
That'll be a track meet.
Yeah, you get the teacher
here in 8 days.
Yeah, teacher and pupil. I mean, and they're close too. Coach Huggins and Brad Underwood.
Tough shot. Won't go. Rebound chased down by Jake Coher. Tough shot falling away will rattle in for Ehab Amin, the junior from Alexandria, Egypt.
I like his game because, as I mentioned there earlier, inside the arc and in 15 feet and in, he does all his work. This Corpus Christi team does not take a lot of threes. They take about 14 a game.
Three-point opportunity coming up for the Cowboys.
Well, here's Jeffrey Carroll.
Number 12, Jake Coker. That's his first.
And what's funny about this drive is Coach Underwood talked about Carroll continuing to prove on the left-hand side. And that's something he's working on, because he's been a guy up until this point in his career that if he's driven at all, which he didn't do enough in previous years, it's been to the right side. So right there, uses that 15 pounds of muscle that he put on in the offseason. The confidence that he has as a player right now goes left. That's another part of the evolution of how good he has become.
The bucket for Carroll snaps an 0 for 6 stretch from the field for the Cowboys after the hot shooting start. We're tied at 15, approaching the 12.5-minute mark of the first half. Foul called on the drive by Kilgore as we check in with Allison.
Thanks, guys. Well, I did talk with Jeffrey Carroll before the game, and he said, I think I've improved on just slowing down and letting his game come to him. He said defending and rebounding is something that he also feels he's improved on. And he said confidence was a huge thing that he wanted to work on, just making himself and his teammates around him better. On what he's working for the Big 12, he said just preparing each game. If it was a tournament, we have a lot to prove to the country, guys.
Thanks, Allison. Cowboys defend well. Evans checked out because he picked up his second personal on that last possession by A&M-Corpus Christi. 16 foul on the Islanders.
Yeah, the Cowboys right here dodge a bullet on the underneath out of bounds play. Underneath out of bounds plays, Mike, you want to protect inside out and force them to throw over the top so you can establish your defense. Cowboys got caught being too high on the floor on the screen there. Fortunately, they missed the dunk.
Averett short with the putback inside by Solomon.
Different guy. I mean, he's a different guy right now. I think the question will be, can he continue to do that at Big 12 conference play? Because he's playing at a really high level right now.
Boy, nice hook shot inside by Perry Francois, the freshman from Miami.
Yeah, good looking freshman. He came ready-made. Got a good body on him.
Cowboys turn it over. 17-17 score, 11:40 to go. High off the glass, won't go. Knocked out to Amin. He'll drive and dish into the corner. Three-pointer off the mark. Poked around and brought down by the Pokes. Short on the three-point shot, bounces right back to him. He'll drive and try to dunk it, no good. Solomon rebounds it. The Cowboys will get the third crack on the offensive end. Forte falling away. Swish.
Well, Oklahoma State did the right thing. You get the offensive rebound, and then they put Texas A&M-Corpus Christi right back on defense. Couple hard cuts, and Forte breaks free.
10:54 to go, first half. The Forte bucket puts the Cowboys on top by 2. And welcome back to Stillwater. Mitchell Solomon has come off the bench and been very aggressive. 5 of the Cowboys' 7 offensive rebounds.
Well, look at him. He finds open areas. He understands the trajectory of the ball, and he's just extremely active right now. And then when he's getting his mitts on it, he's being strong with it. See right there, straight back up, no hesitation. And as I mentioned, Saturday night plays 27 minutes at Wichita State. And if you watch the game, you saw 3 points and 3 rebounds, which is nothing to write home about. But if you truly watch the game, all the balls he kept alive. And the other thing that he does, if you watch him, he occupies other defensive rebounders, which allows a guy like Jeffrey Carroll or Lindy Waters, these long wings, to come in from the weak side and have offensive rebound opportunities.
Well, it's given them some extra looks because they started 5 of 7 from the field, 2 of 11 since. And that shot up and down by Averett. Devon Dillard is checked in during the timeout. We got an injury on the floor.
It's Martinez.
Senior from San Antonio, shaken up.
And let's take a look right here. See Martinez, number 2 on the weak side. Yep, Dillard. And he fell right back on that right knee. And your first thought is hyperextension. Hopefully he's okay, because he's a great piece for Willis Wilson, because you have those guards, big guards that can get to the heart of the defense. Of course, Thomas is a really good player, but Martinez is that guy that's an unbelievable shooter at 48% from 3 that can stretch the floor for those drivers. So hopefully he gets up and he's going to be okay.
Four-point Cowboy lead. Coming into this one 9-2. The Islanders are 7-3, but this Islander team 25-8 last year and lost to Underwood's Stephen F. Austin team in the Southland Conference Final.
Well, they've won 20 and 25 games the last 2 years, and they're expected to challenge along with Stephen F. Austin and then maybe New Orleans, who Oklahoma State played early in the year, and Oklahoma State played great. New Orleans was way better than they show. They've got a lot of pieces and some size and different things, but those are probably your 3.
Thomas trapped, results in a steal. Ahead to Carroll, layup good.
What's a great spot to trap, right across the timeline. And as an offensive team, you got to understand what spots to stay away from.
Thomas goes all the way and lays it in with the left hand.
Number 25, John Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas, an Oklahoma City kid, Southeast High School. Oklahoma State has a former great that's from Southeast. Remember Matt Clark?
Oh, yeah. Tipped around, kick out for 3 from the wing. That's good. Averett, sharp shooting from three-point land.
Allison talked about Carroll saying the game has slowed down for him this year. The game offensively slowing down for Averett.
Thomas with a miss. Jeffrey Carroll with the rebound. He's going to take it all the way in. foul called on the Islanders. Let's go back to the defense by the Cowboys.
Yeah, here's why you're second in the country forcing turnovers. There's another steal. And when there's steals, it's a live ball situation. And here's Averett. You know, his feet set, plenty of room, shooting in rhythm. I'm certainly comfortable with him taking that kind of three-point shot.
Waters checks back in. Phil Forte will take a seat. See Carroll's numbers. He knocks down the second free throw. He's averaging 16.5 and 7. He's got 8 and 5 so far here this afternoon. Cowboys substitute 3 and put on the pressure after the 2 makes by Carroll.
Watch Averett right here. I mean, such a ball hawk. Does a good job of turning you time and time again. And what you hope is overtime in the course of the game, that wears on you.
Averett chases down the rebound over to Dzagwa. He'll put up a 3, and he got it. Freshman from Tampa.
Tell you what, as soon as Averett gets this long rebound, he sees him right there. Finds Dzagwa. Here's a guy that's made 10 of 16 the last 3 games from 3. And continues to fill it. See him right there? Averett had him on the radar the entire time. And then Dzagwa on the weak side. As a shooter, you've got to find windows or gaps that pass can go through. And as we've all learned to know, Dzagwa, lots of confidence in shooting the basketball.
Dzagwa shooting 55% from 3 for the season. Dialed in from long distance.
I mean, that young man loves to play. And he feels like he belongs. And he obviously does. I mean, he's producing. Sometimes when you're young, you won't admit it. But you get to this level and things don't come as easy, obviously, as they would in high school. And you're like, oh, in the back of your mind, it's natural to go, you know, this is tougher than I thought it was going to be. But he, along with those other 4 freshmen, have quickly shown that they belong with the confidence that they play with, including that young guy right there.
Kilgore will inbound it for the Islanders. Cowboys have pushed the lead to a dozen. And that'll drop for Francois.
Francois, nice touch right there. Kind of raw. Talk about guys being raw. That's usually a lot of upside.
And how about Dzagwa, back-to-back 3s. Islanders will try to answer. It's a miss. Carroll with a board. Check that. Francois rebounds for the Islanders.
Thought Averett might try to see if he could draw help on the right side as you had Dzagwa coming down in transition. That's kind of a situation. It's a point guard. Try to create help and kick for a heat check right there.
Shot clock under 10 for Corpus Christi. Islanders get a new shot clock. Reverse layup is good. Count it with the foul.
Well, the last 3 games, this young man's played about 18 minutes a night, averaging 11 points. There's his 11th and 12th tray in 4 games. Putting on the floor just a little bit.
Thomas with a miss. Solomon with a rebound. Forte loses the handle. Look who's on the floor battling for the loose ball. And that'll keep it in the Cowboys' possession.
Good hustle by Solomon to get on the floor. And right there, Forte's got to be careful, over dribbling and really nowhere to go trying to split that double team. But Solomon, good job of trailing the play and not giving up on the play.
This time the Islanders come away with it. And a travel called on Kilgore.
When you notice there, Oklahoma State really trying to extend out. Now Carroll gets turned around defensively. That's not how you want to deny a pass one away. But the result is still what you want. Force a guy to go back door, pressure, and then as soon as he catches it, you got help defenders right in his lap. And that's, in essence, what Oklahoma State is trying to do, hurry you up.
Good pass by Desagua to get it inside. Gasson checks back in for Oklahoma State. Solomon gets a hand as he heads to the bench, as does Desagua, who's already in double figures.
There's the miscue right there from A&M-Corpus Christi. And this is what I think Brad Underwood is hoping would start to occur. Because Willis Wilson, they have a nice team, but not a deep bench. You have Martinez out with the injury. They played less than 48 hours ago on the West Coast. And everything was going well early. But the constant pressure of Oklahoma State appears to be wearing on them a little bit. We'll see how the rest of the half closes out here.
Averette alley-oop to Gasson, a little bit high. Carroll chases it down, and that results in a missed dunk.
Foul charge to number 3, Joe Kilgore is second.
One of the most important things in basketball, I think, are the 50-50 balls. That's 50-50, equal opportunity. And Oklahoma State getting many more of those right now than A&M-Corpus Christi. And those hustle plays always lead to something good. Carroll finds himself at the line.
Another make from the line will get Jeffrey Carroll into double figures. Misses the second, 5:20 to go. Dillard and Coher back in for OSU and Corpus Christi respectively. Francois back on the floor as well for the visitors.
Yeah, and that's something that's been really positive for Corpus Christi. Francois giving him a little production, gets a rest. Coach Wilson gets him back in the game.
Approaching the 5-minute mark here in the first half. Forte, short. Rebound Islanders. South in a little bit of trouble, but gets out of it. Thomas sizing things up, pulls up, around and out. Waters with the rebound. Open three, miss by Forte.
And I like the extra pass by Dillard. That's the type of thing that Coach Underwood will take notice of. Pass up a decent shot for a better one.
Reverse attempt no good, but the follow by Bloom is good.
Well, you can just tell the difference in Averette from the 1st of November to now December 22nd in running the team. I think that Tulsa game accelerated his progress, having to step up in the absence of Juwan Evans on the road.
Follow no good. Cowboys having a little bit of trouble around the rim, but Devon Dillard able to put in the follow.
They've had trouble finishing, Mike, but you have to be pleased with multiple guys attacking the offensive glass. We mentioned 6th in the country in offensive rebounding efficiency. And what's amazing about that stat is no Oklahoma State player is in the top 175 individually in offensive rebounds. So it's a total team effort.
Timeout on the floor. Cowboys leading. 3:27 to go, first half here in Stillwater. Welcome back as we take a look at some of the NCAA rankings for the Cowboys. You see in scoring 4th in the country, in the top 10 in all these categories, Brendan.
It's all impressive, but the impressive part is they're making an impact at both ends of the floor. Scoring, free throws made, those are offensive things. Defensively, steals, turnovers forced, and obviously that results into a good turnover margin. And they're scoring a bunch of points. They're defending. They make teams incredibly uncomfortable. And that's what makes a week from tomorrow's matchup with West Virginia so exciting to me as a basketball and Big 12 person, with Bob Huggins bringing his team into Gallagher. And this is really, a teacher and a pupil battling it out and playing very similarly. All those things you've seen West Virginia certainly over the last couple of years, in the upper tier on all those categories, offensive rebounding and forcing turnovers with defense.
Well, and it's only one of 18 conference games in the Big 12, but what an impact that first game could have, because it is a top-ranked team taking on the Cowboys here at home, can really set the tone for how this Big 12 campaign could go for Oklahoma State.
It could set it in a great way. But I do not think if West Virginia, who is good enough to come in here and win, I don't think that will detract from the potential of Oklahoma State's team.
Right.
But nationally, people are starting to recognize what's going on with the Cowboys, with essentially the same guys that were here last year or last couple of years, with a bunch of freshmen who you would assume would take a while to develop, but they're making an impact right now.
Zagwa hasn't missed a shot. He leads the Cowboys in scoring this afternoon with 11. Their largest lead right now at 18 points with 3:15 to go first half. Zagwa a little bit off the mark that time. Carroll drives, tough shot, but draws contact.
So here's what makes that so difficult to defend. You have Carroll, a driver, right here. And this is the second go around, so he gets himself to the line. But in the corner, you have DeZagua. So you can't help off DeZagua because he's flat out shooting the heck out of it right now. And you have Carroll, who's become a terrific driver. And you can see this is twice this game where he's shown the ability to go either way. Takes it left there.
Forte back on the floor in place of Averett. Carroll's free throw puts him in double figures. Now with 11 points on the day. Short shot good by Elijah Schmidt, freshman from Spring, Texas.
Speaking of freshmen, there's 3 or 4 on this roster for Texas A&M-Corpus Christi that I think in time are going to really be good. I know Willis Wilson feels that way.
Good ball movement by the Cowboys, and it nearly nets a 3, rattles out for Carroll.
He has good post entry pass from DeZagua, and then good vision from Solomon,
who has another rebound. Under 2 to go first half. steal by Coher, and he'll not finish on the other end. And Solomon with another rebound. Solomon 1 rebound away from double figures in that department. Good break by Corpus Christi, and that'll get Brad Underwood off the bench for a timeout as Bloom lays it in for the visitors.
Yeah, I saw that coming. As you get the missed shot from Solomon, you see Coach Underwood not happy, and then they didn't get back, they being Oklahoma State, in defensive transition. We're lazy there. And you really have a chance to break open this game even more and close out the half, and those are the type of things that let teams hang around.
47-31 our scores. We take a look at the Cowboys moving the ball around to get the open look.
Well, there's DeZagua passing up a 3 to get the touch inside. And so that shows you him thinking the game and his unselfishness. Not all about him getting the jack up threes. You certainly got to understand if he took it. He doesn't get it. The post entry pass was great. Rotation comes over, and then Solomon has vision.
You know, one thing you talked about early on when we did the first couple of games was how Lindy Waters was a guy that the game comes slow to even as a freshman. And you see with guys like DeZagua now, Gasson, who's come on, Averett, that the game is slowing down for them as well.
I think that's what's impressive. And none of those guys can go out and dominate games. They're not those type of players, but if they do the right things, they make a big impact.
Amin with the steal, but the Islanders missed the chippy. Forte fouled.
That was on number 25, Rashawn Thomas, his second.
Nice job. Forte recognizing Thomas at his size, although athletic. That's a tough spot to be in. You've got a guard coming at you in a straight line drive situation in transition. Forte, a good job of getting himself to the foul line. And when you're struggling shooting the ball, one of the best ways to get yourself going, if you're a guy like Forte, find a way to get the foul line. Because you know he's going to make good on those 90+% of the time. And for some reason, I always felt like that. There you go, 98% of the time. But for some reason, it just seems to open up the basket again for you as a shooter when you've been struggling, if you can get to the charity stripe.
Waters heads to the bench. Mitchell Solomon with 11 rebounds here this afternoon, a new career high for the product of Bixby High School.
Exhibiting his inner Olis Holder. Remember Olis Holder back in the 70s, Oklahoma State's all-time great rebounders.
Open 3, short. Good follow with the left hand by Kilgore.
Well, Corpus Christi, they will not go away. They play hard.
Forte, long 3. That's good.
Well, good extra pass again from Dillard. And without McGriff available today, it's given Dillard an opportunity to get some time.
DeZagua gets his hands on it. Possession arrow pointing the Islanders' way.
The ball movement right here. So you force help. And now defense is playing catch up. They advance out on Dillard. As soon as it hits Dillard's hands, a perfect pass to Forte in rhythm.
Gasol, Hammonds, and Waters back on the floor. Colin Hale, freshman from Aransas, past Texas, checks in for the Islanders, as does Kareem South.
And that 3 is good. Phil Forte is having to learn to get shots within the offense. I mean, he in high school and even prior to this year, most of his 3s were set up through special scoring plays, but that was one within the offense.
Shot clock winding down. Kilgore puts it up. And we are at halftime with the Cowboys leading 52-33 over A&M A&M-Corpus Christi. And now it's time for the Whataburger College All Access Update. Let's check in with Allison Gappa.
Thanks, guys. Coach Thomas DeZagua coming off the bench, giving you 11 points. How important is it having him as that spark?
Wow. Yeah, it's pretty good. Thing is, he's doing other things. He's getting on the floor for a loose ball here. He's playing pretty good defense. That's nice. He's got that unusual ability to come in cold and just be able to make shots, and he doesn't take him long to get going. We like going to him when he gets going, but our defense created a lot of those opportunities, and Mitchell Solomon on the glass did yeoman's work, and then we were able to get in transition. We were able to survive the half without Juwan and a couple early fouls.
You mentioned Mitchell Solomon and him getting it done on the glass on the defensive and the offensive side. What have you seen from him in the first half?
He's been unbelievable the last 4 games. He helps our team so much when he's on the floor, not in foul trouble. He's a great screener. We've got to have more of that in the second half.
All right, thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Guys.
All right, thanks, Allison. Thanks to Coach Underwood. His team up 19 at the half. The bench has been very productive for the Cowboys. The Verizon at the half is coming up next on Fox. Oklahoma State Cowboy basketball is brought to you by Oklahoma Farm Bureau. We are the same Oklahoma Farm Bureau you've always trusted, now even better. And by Express Employment. We're on a mission to put 1 million people to work annually. And about to start this second half here in Stillwater. Final non-conference game of the 2016-2017 season, and the Cowboys lead at 52-33. Very impressive first half, well on their way to their 93.5 points per contest, 4th in the country.
That's interesting. You shoot 42% in the first half and put up 52 points.
Forte steps left, misses the 3, but an offensive board by Hammonds. The handoff from Gasson to Forte, and a bump and a foul called on the Islanders.
I think that's on Thomas, which would be his 3rd.
He averages nearly 18 points per game. Hasn't really gotten on track with half a dozen.
Well, the type of game that Oklahoma State forces you in has taken him out of the game a little bit offensively. The pace of it. Nice finish right there by Hammonds.
Lucas Gasson, Lindy Waters, Phil Forte.
Cowboys up 21.
Where Thomas can hurt you is in more of a half-court game. Coach Wilson could put us a nice pass. He can put you in a lot of spots like that right there. I mean, he can handle it out front. They like to use him in the mid-post. But when the game's quick, you can't really utilize him. And that's difficult because he's your greatest strength. And there's Thomas, 6'8", the senior from Southeast High School in Oklahoma City. Can score. 3rd in the country in getting to the foul line. The Cowboys have kept him off the foul line, has not been there once.
Waters drives and dishes. Evans kept it alive, and it results in a basket underneath by Waters.
Well, Evans just sees things develop before they occur. And then Thomas obviously had to avoid picking up the 4th. Waters intelligently using the ball fake.
Culver runs out of real estate. Gets it over to South with 9 on the shot clock. Kilgore. And they fumble it away. Here comes Evans. He'll dish, and Phil Forte will knock it down from long range. 59-35. Gasson a little bit shaken up as he hobbles to the bench.
There's that quick play right there. Set up by Evans. Easy deuce for Waters. And here's another one. Drive, kick, classic penetrate pitch. Point guard to a premier shooter.
Out of bounds, turnover Cowboys will have it. You know, we showed the schedule during the Verizon halftime show, and you talk about those 3 programs in the top 12 with Kansas, Baylor, and West Virginia. This league, the last couple of years, incredible basketball being played on the men's side.
Yeah, if you believe in the RPI, which doesn't always tell the whole story, it's benefited the Big 12 each of the last 3 years. #1 RPI team in the country. Here's Gasson. He banged knees right there, Mike.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah, kind of a stinger. Looks like he'll be okay.
Shot block underneath. Islanders able to keep it alive, and Thomas lays it in. Evans tries to answer, too strong.
And what I think will be interesting this year about the Big 12 is the depth is unquestionably the best in the country. Obviously, the ACC, excellent at the top, but there are no dogs in this league.
And Solomon hustles down the floor, gets the pass from Forte, and lays it in.
I like it when Phil puts it on the deck at the right times. And like Evans, we see him do so often. Forte, seeing that develop before the play actually occurred.
Foul called on Oklahoma State as Carroll, Dillard, DeZagua, and Averett sub in.
And here's Forte. You got to extend out on him because he can shoot it. So the poor closeout. Forte able to go by, draw help, and there's Solomon sliding down the middle of the lane.
3rd personal on Evans. Cowboys get the steal off the inbounds. Averett with the left hand around and out. Here comes Amin. And they're going to call a blocking foul on DeZagua.
Yeah, bang, bang play right here. Well, DeZagua slightly moving, but had he been completely set, it doesn't matter. You have to be outside the restricted arc area. That orange semicircle, as you see right here, see DeZagua's right heel beyond that. So whether you're set or not, much like the NBA, you have to be outside the arc. So excellent call. A lot of times what officials will do, Mike, when they make that bang bang call, is they will point to the restricted arc area so that the crowd and the coaches know, you know, kind of bails out the official in a sense.
Averett tries to whip a pass into Solomon. It's a turnover and then a foul on Oklahoma State.
How about the sports coat today?
I like it.
Brown with
checkers.
Those checkers are orange. I like it. We'll get him a pocket square. He'll be rolling.
There's Thomas, and he can heat up in a hurry.
Yeah, really talented. First team all conference last year. He was the defensive player of the year in the South last season. Could be the player of the year when it's all said and done this season.
Dillard spins, gets the bucket, and the foul. 15:45 to go in the ball game. Devon Dillard getting on the board for the Cowboys with a spin move in the lane.
Welcome back to Gallagher-Iba Arena. The Cowboys leading the Islanders 63-42. I have an update on Lucas Gasson. The trainer told me that he just rolled his ankle. He retaped it for him, and he is good to go, guys.
All right, thanks, Allison. Both teams started off the ball game shooting hot from the field. Second half, a repeat performance, 4 of 7 from the Islanders from the field. Cowboys 5 of 8 from the field.
Devon Dillard been good in 8 minutes tonight. That's 6 points from Dillard.
Cowboys applying the pressure, forced the turnover. And how about that Averett.
And all started by Dillard. It's defensive pressure. And with McGriff being out, he's been able to get these extra minutes and maybe be a guy that Coach Underwood could trust in certain situations. Good for him.
Three-pointer knocked down by Kareem South. 14 turnovers forced by Oklahoma State. Evans and Waters set to check back in. It's good hustle by DeZagua going to the floor.
Well, great effort right there. I don't know where the inbounder was throwing it to. There's no way that ball gets through there.
Looked like he tried to throw it off of Dillard is what it looked like.
Had to be.
Cowboys up 21. 15:02 to go here on Fox. And welcome back as you get a look at a couple other Cowboy coaches. Josh Holliday, the baseball coach on the left. John Smith has the top-ranked wrestling team in the country. We did their match with Cornell on Friday. We've got them again on the 15th, 2 o'clock on Sunday the 15th against Iowa. So a couple of the top programs in the country, a couple of great coaches coming to support Brad Underwood and the Cowboy basketball team.
Yeah, Coach Holliday coming off a trip to Omaha, reminiscent of the old days. Tyler Buffett, Trey Cobb back in their pitching rotation. Rob Walton, the master at developing the staff. He got a chance to get back there again. Of course, John Smith. I see him. I've known him for years, but every time I see him, you know, what a stud.
He's got his son Joe Smith wrestling now.
I mean, he's. And obviously, we're a basketball family, but growing up in Stillwater, you understand and appreciate wrestling, being able to come to those matches as a kid. And so I've made sure my two boys, who would by no means would ever be wrestlers, they think that. I don't know if they're tough enough, but I've educated them on John Smith now.
Well, you look at this place, historic Gallagher-Iba Arena. Well, we know the Iba is Mr. Iba. The Gallagher is from the wrestling side of things.
Yeah, two former Cowboys, too. It makes it even more special they're here.
Shot up and down by Thomas. He's now got a dozen.
Yeah, a little quick right there from Evans. He makes a lot of those plays, but trying to thread the needle a little too much. There just wasn't a lot of room for Hammonds. Even if he had gotten to the ball, he'd probably been underneath the basket.
Shot clock at 6.
Just be solid right here. Don't gamble.
South kicks it out. 3 from the corner. Won't go. Islanders try to get the offensive rebound, throw it out of bounds.
A little mass substitution, 4 new Cowboys coming in. But that's right there. When you're looking for improvement from a team that is improving at a fast rate in Oklahoma State, you have under 10 on the shot clock. What Jeffrey Carroll's got to understand is you can't give up dribble penetration. Corpus Christi gets a really good look in the corner. That's when you've got to be solid and make sure that they're running their offense over the top of you.
The Cowboys doing a good job on the offensive boards, keeping it alive. Doesn't result in points, but can't fault the hustle. Cowboys finally come away with that one. Amin whistled for his second personal.
Yeah, not much flow in the game right now. And as I mentioned in the first half, Corpus Christi will keep coming at you. Well-coached team. They've got a star in Thomas. Look at Amin right there.
He lays it up and in. He's got 13 points. And that will get Brad Underwood off the Cowboy bench for a timeout, as their lead has been chopped to 17 with just over 13 minutes to go.
Yeah, that's careless right there. Poor exchange from Averett and DeZagua. And there's Amin. who's physical at 6'4". I mentioned he and Kilgore, at their size defensively, they really get out and pressure, much like Oklahoma State tries to do. They try to make you uncomfortable. Coach Underwood tried substituting 4 guys because he didn't like what was going on with the team before. And this group has not picked up the intensity. You see the scoring drop for the Cowboys as well. So that's what has allowed Corpus Christi, Mike to get back, 17 now? Have a little momentum. And this goes back to another conversation I had with Coach Underwood, that the team's starting to have a little success, if you will. Big win at Wichita State, playing better. You know, he's curious to see how they handle a little prosperity. That's just as important as learning how to handle adversity, because you're going to experience both.
In this
yeah, exactly, Mike. Maybe multiple times throughout an 18-game schedule in the most balanced, toughest night-in, night-out conference in the country.
Shot clock under 10 for the Pokes. Evans surveys. Kicks it out to Forte. Cowboys keep it alive. And free throws coming up for Oklahoma State. Carroll drawing the contact.
Yeah, and Jeffrey Carroll, right, strength to grab this ball right here, and there comes Thomas. And Carroll, body-to-body contact, almost gets it to go. And if you watch Jeffrey Carroll this year, you know, I've already touched on many things already, but another thing that he's able to do well is when he drives it or has opportunities like you just saw, he can absorb the contact and it doesn't impede his progress. He can still continue to get to the rim. When you leave your feet, when you lose your base, right? I leave my feet and somebody hits me, they're going to knock me 15 feet.
Second row.
Absolutely. I was going to say first, but Carroll can absorb contact and still give the ball a chance to go, especially when he's slicing and dicing in transition. We've already seen it a lot this season.
You know, how much of his improvement do you credit to Coach Underwood, and how much of it is just the maturation process, getting stronger year in and year out?
I think it's a little both. We saw in Big 12 conference play, especially the latter half, you had no Evans and no Forte. I mean, it's hard to win games like that. But you saw he and Leighton Hemmons, I think, grow up a little bit in February of last year. And then he's put in the work. But I do think that Brad Underwood is perfect for him. Offensive rebounding, which he loves, offensive rebounding guards, Brad Underwood. The emphasis on the weight room. A lot of coaches, you know, to be honest, Travis Ford lightened up a lot of the weights. Not saying it's right or wrong. During season, Brad Underwood, they get after it on non-game days. I think that's helped Jeffrey Carroll gain strength.
Evans picks up his 4th foul. There's Carroll. And good job by the Islanders to chase him down from behind. Cowboys up 19, second half on Fox.
Arena, where the Cowboys lead the Islanders 68-49. Well, Coach Underwood, he wants Gallagher-Iba Arena full for the December 30th conference opener game against West Virginia. It's personal for him because of the close friendship that he's had with Coach Bob Huggins, a 20-plus year friendship. It's also personal for him because a big reason why he even took this job was because of this building, Gallagher-Iba Arena. 4,000 tickets have already been sold because of the 4 for 20 ticket special, and that is still going on, guys.
Thanks, Allison. And I remember the days when we sat across from where we are now at the media table, and during Big 12 games, this was before they expanded the arena and pretty much doubled the occupancy, and you would be sitting right next to someone after a dunk or something, and you couldn't even hear yourself talk. And that's what Coach Underwood, one of the reasons he came here, like Allison mentioned, and one of the things they want to get back going here at Stillwater.
I know, Mike, I get stopped daily a lot. And there's excitement about
you got to stop speeding.
OSU, OSU basketball, and specifically questions about Brad Underwood. I mean, is he really what he appears to be? We're so excited. Now, when you've had a long period where maybe you used to go to games, kind of like going to church, you get out of habit. You know, sometimes it's hard to get going again. But I think this is an exciting team. Obviously, it's on the up and up. You got one of the premier point guards in the country. And a great building, a place with a lot of history. So all the elements were there. As Allison mentioned, 4,000 individual tickets, additional tickets already sold for West Virginia. But there's a couple thousand left.
And how about the offensive rebound, giving Forte another shot, and he knocks it down.
It's the first time in a while that Forte has knocked down multiple threes and looked good doing it.
Solomon with 12 rebounds, 7 on the offensive end.
Good play right there. Boy, they do such a good job of attacking the paint and executing their offense near the rim. And I say, obviously, every time somebody hits a shot, they look good doing it. What I'm trying to say is it's in rhythm, it's comfortable, it's within the Oklahoma State offense. Here's another one.
And Forte starting to heat up. Back-to-back threes for the senior from Flower Mound Marcus.
And as you get into conference, you're going to see Brad Underwood run more special scoring plays in key situations. And some of those will be for Phil Forte, like he is used to. But he's got to continue, as you're seeing today, to get looks within the offense itself.
Amin creates and finishes. Forte has 19 to lead the Cowboys. Amin with 17 to lead the Islanders. As Averett with a quick answer.
Well, he is so good downhill, and he's learning not to get too deep, use his body to shield the bigger, stronger, taller defenders off. Nice job of using the left hand on that particular possession.
Amin has it stripped. 9:13 to go, and here's the offensive board. Solomon going up high and creating another chance.
And I love, you get the offensive rebound, you have a broken floor. And so Solomon immediately turns, finds Forte, and then you can't forget about him defensively. And especially when he's in rhythm, any shooter for that matter. Little heat check right there. And then on this end, good job of keeping Amin in front and forcing the turnover. So excellent series of possessions at both ends here recently for Forte.
9 minutes remaining in the ball game. Cowboys led 52-33 at halftime. Averett short. Thomas with a rebound.
Yeah, it's hard to shoot that floater moving away from the basket. And Averett had the floater, but he was moving to the left, away from it.
That's his second.
Forte called for the foul. Evans, who has 4 personals for Oklahoma State at the scorer's table, set to check back into the ballgame.
I think one of the things that Oklahoma State has shown, and again, the competition gets tougher night in, night out. And they've played good people in some of those on the road. But when Jawan's been out of the game for extended periods of time, we saw it at Wichita State in the first half, Saturday night. I mean, the Cowboys many times have hung tough and bought time, and then several other times have extended leads, and that's what they did in Wichita without Evans in the game.
Forte misses that 3-point attempt. Thomas nearly lost the handle, kept it alive. And the Cowboys come away with a steal. DeZagua. Well, he made his first 4 shots there in the first half. 3 from 3 and then the drive. Forte. Not necessarily the shot when you had numbers, but 76-58. Cowboys 7.5 remaining.
Yeah, I'd rather see him go a little more downhill and then pull up on a dime, like from 12 to 15. You know, straight, like you drive and pull up straight up and down. Fade away, getting that deep at his size is tough.
High arcing rainbow 3 from Coher.
Right in that basket to number 12, Jake Coher.
That might bring rain early. We're supposed to get rain Christmas Day, are we not? Maybe.
I haven't looked at the forecast yet.
You're an old news guy. Don't you check the forecast every day?
Not to knock them, but you know, about 50% of the time they cut our time and weren't always correct on the forecast.
on the sports.
Yeah. If I read scores
so you're
the way they did forecasts, I wouldn't have been able to keep it. Cowboys lead it. 6:46 to go in the final tune-up before Big 12 play. Backs from former Cowboy greats in the house. Matt Clark, Randy Wright. You know, and that's one thing that this and Underwood being here this year has kind of brought back some of the Cowboy greats of all time.
Yeah, hey, Matt, Southeast High School. You know, he battled a lot of injuries. There's Randy Wright. Late 70s, early 80s. You won't like me saying that. Randy could play. Terrific foul shooter, smart. Both those guys are Oklahoma kids. You know, Matt, he could play multiple positions. And he had to play point at different times in his career for the Cowboys. And in those days, at 6'4.5", that was a big guy handling the ball out front.
Solomon with another offensive rebound. That's his 8th. He's got 13 boards total and half a dozen points off the bench.
Matt won't like me saying in those days either, but I can say that because I'm old school now too, huh? Like an antique.
I wouldn't say antique yet. Thomas keeping it alive.
25.
He's got 14 points now.
Well, I like the grit of Texas A&M-Corpus Christi. They've got to be tired.
Boy, Solomon has Johnny on the spot this afternoon.
Like what we were describing earlier in the game, it's not an accident. He's in the right spots right now. And that shot's going up. He's following the fly of the ball. Most of the time he knows it's going to be weak side or middle of the floor. And he's conditioned himself and trained himself and bought into it to go to the glass every single time. And if he's not getting the offensive rebound, he is occupying space for other Cowboys who are also crashing the glass for opportunity. See, watch him. See Solomon keeps coming, boom. You know, that's an easy shot that you think your teammate's going to finish, but he's assuming he's going to miss and never gives up the play.
And they fired inside the waters. You know, and the thing about Solomon too, 14 rebounds today, 9 on the offensive end, is early on in the season he was getting into foul trouble, and that was putting him in a lot of tough spots. 3 fouls today, just picked up the 3rd at the 5.5-minute mark.
Great point, Mike. And there was a couple of breakaways, one of which I can recall in the first half, where he contested the shot but didn't body up and get a silly foul we've seen him do earlier. And there's Waters slipping behind A&M-Corpus Christi's defense for the easy lay-in.
Zagwa and Solomon check out. Good performances for both here this afternoon.
You know, decent crowd, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, on a noon game on a Thursday right before Christmas, no students. Obviously affects you. A lot going on. A lot of people out finishing their shopping. I mean, It's a good crowd. One of the reasons Brad Underwood wanted to play this at noon was so the guys could get out of town today and go home for a couple of days. Wants them to recharge their batteries a little bit.
Dillard didn't quite get his hand wrapped around it. 4:54 remaining.
And it's perfect. You get the ball to the corner, short corner there. Dillard just not able to come up with it.
.21 turnovers on the Islanders. Cowboys hitting their average in forced turnovers, which is second nationally to the team that'll be in here in 8 days. Cowboys crash the offensive boards again.
I'll tell you what, multiple guys. I mean, Brad Underwood has sent the message. I mean, Dillard been really close to having about 6 or 8 more points.
A couple of hard knocks on the hardwood. Hammonds goes down hard, as does Amin.
Watch him get tangled right there. Oh, Hammonds hits Amin in the face inadvertently. Then Hammonds takes a spill.
Cowboys 11 points shy of their season average with 4:22 remaining. There's one more look.
Yeah, nothing malicious. Just wrong place, wrong time. But fortunately, I mean, that could have been a lot worse. And you get somebody coming down with your elbow or your wrist.
.8-point lead. Wonderful to see some of the other freshmen who haven't seen the floor today. Officials explaining the call. Going to call the personal on Leighton Hammonds, his third, which will send Amin to the line. This is the front end of the 1-and-1. And Dillard with a rebound.
Christi's hung tough here this second half. As we mentioned, they played less than 48 hours ago on the West Coast against a good St. Mary's team, 19th in the country. Now you got to come to Stillwater after a travel day. You don't have Martinez, who plays 6 minutes. He's really your lone legitimate three-point threat. They've hung tough, and you can see why Brad Underwood had a lot of respect for this team. He already had it for Willis Wilson as a coach. I mean, he went on and on about him this morning. He said, you know, this team this is Brad Underwood's thoughts, and he knows the Southland better than anybody. This team, Stephen F., New Orleans among the ones that have a chance to win the conference.
Evans has been in foul trouble all day. You see his stat line, 5 points, 3 assists. Also 3 turnovers. And it's nice to have a lead like you do when a guy like Evans has been held well below his scoring average.
You know, and he doesn't have a huge game because of the foul trouble. But honestly, where Jawan Evans is at his best is when you're playing the Oklahomas in your building. You're playing Kansas, you know, the West Virginias. I mean, he's always great, high-level guy, but he relishes those type of games. And he's such an unselfish guy. In some ways, he appreciates probably allowing these guys to get some more minutes. and develop. He does understand that.
3:45 to go. Cowboys, that's how far away they are from a 10-2 start.
There's a storm brewing.
Oklahoma State Cowboy basketball is brought to you by OG&E, powered at the speed of life. Verizon, the exclusive wireless provider of OSU athletics. By Express Employment, we're on a mission to put 1 million people to work annually. And by Rib Crib, keeping it saucy, Cowboy fans. 20-point lead for the Cowboys with 3:45 to go. Time for the OG&E Wind Power plays of the game, and they're provided by that freshman from Tampa, Florida, Thomas DeZagua, who made his first 4 shots from the field, including 3 threes, and wrapped to 11 first-half points.
Yeah, A&M-Corpus Christi led by 5 early, and it was tied at 15. And then DeZagua provided the separation, the 3 threes, as you mentioned. 11 points off the bench. And you can throw in Averett's 11, Jeffrey Carroll's 13. And DeZagua part of 4 Cowboys in double figures, 3 of which are off the bench. And that's part of the method of the madness, if you will, for Brad Underwood. I mean, he wants that bench to be stout. And they have certainly produced this afternoon and have really developed over the last 3 or 4 games.
Ehab Amin knocks down both. He leads all scorers with 21.
You know, one of the things, among others, that's good to play Texas A&M-Corpus Christi, Mike, today is nice drive there. Strong drive by Waters.
They get the and one opportunity.
Yeah, Waters quietly goes about his work. Some of the other freshmen right now may be shining a touch more, but from day one, he's been the most reliable and the most trusting in the eyes of Brad Underwood. What I was going to say about playing Texas A&M-Corpus Christi in preparation for West Virginia, A&M-Corpus Christi, they'll switch everything. Some teams will switch 1 through 4. A&M-Corpus Christi switches 1 through 5. West Virginia switches screens. So this gives a little glimpse. This switches movement too, let alone screens.
Right.
This gives the Cowboys a little glimpse of something that they'll see in 8 days.
Under 3 to go. 21-point advantage for Oklahoma State. Good ball movement. Open look from the corner. Drained by Waters.
Evans is really cerebral. I mean, wide open jumper in the middle lane, or the floater that he's so good at. The Chris Paul-esque shot that he shows. But unselfish, finding Waters right there. You get ball movement, it ends up in a tremendous point guard's hands in a broken half-court situation. Seems to always make a good choice. There's Waters in rhythm from the corner.
Tyler Underwood checks in. Dillard back on the floor. A&M-Corpus, the 3rd team out of the Southland that the Cowboys have played in this non-conference campaign. Also played UNO. As well as Central Arkansas.
Well, a lot of depth on this team. You know, who would have thought? You come to this year, you know what you have in Evans, you know what you have in Forte, Hammonds, and Carroll to a certain degree. Knew Mitchell Solomon had upside or more than he was producing his first 2 years, and then Tavares Shine, who you do not have. So a lot of question marks that starting to be answered now.
2 minutes left.
Certainly didn't think they were going to be 10-11 deep. I mean,
Dillard knocks down the mid-range jumper. Nice game for Devon Dillard. 8 points, 6 rebounds.
yeah, he's played well. 8 and 6, that's a good number off the bench. But more importantly, I mean, his defense has been better. I mean, he has crashed the glass. He's hustled. He's made the extra passes. And those things are what will be noticed more than the 8 and 6.
Zog was short that time. Sal has his shot blocked.
How about Tyler Underwood?
And number 33, Trey Reeves.
Blocked with the off hand, left hand right there. Did he just give the Kembe Mutombo? Obviously, that's in jest. He's having fun.
I remember I interviewed Mutombo one time at the Ivo Awards in Tulsa. You know, of course, he's 7 foot plus, and I felt like I was looking up at the stars. One of the most awkward interviews I've ever done. Trey Reeves is checked in. Of course, Big Country's son. Good look at him. Valedictorian of his senior class at Muldrow High School.
Of course, I know him well.
Zero Kyle Brown checking in.
One of the great young men you'll ever know. Pretty sure he had a 4-point this semester. And I don't even think it was close, would be my guess.
Also reporting in for the
Shot a few baskets alongside him when he arrived here this morning.
This is a big fella. April, his wife, and other 3 kids with him today.
Reeves will put up a 3. Looked good when it left his hand.
He's got in games and knocked down shots right off the bat before.
Another block underneath.
Well, he was the Conference Defender of the Year at McGinnis High School a couple years ago.
Yep, Will Leonard.
You know, he's played sparingly. And I think Brad Underwood feels like if he's got to go to him for 2 or 3 minutes, they trust him enough to run the offense and be in right position defensively. And you might see that at times when they get in foul trouble at the 4 and 5.
Number 10, very
Francois.
Francois has that down, doesn't he? That jump hook over the left shoulder.
92-70, your final score. Your Oklahoma Farm Bureau Player of the Game is the senior, Phil Forte. You're starting to heat up from long range today, Brendan.
Yeah, great to see, because he has struggled shooting the ball as of late, but not today. 5 trays in all within the realm of the offense. But credit his teammates too, Mike, finding him at the right times, and that was the Phil Forte of old.
Route to 19 points, and he's standing by with Allison.
Thanks, guys. Phil, 19 points for you, 5 of 10 from 3. What'd you learn about your team in this last non-conference game heading into West Virginia?
You know, each and every day we're trying to get a little better. You know, we're not perfect right now, but that's kind of been coach's goals every day, guys. We're just trying to get a little better in practice and in games. And so, you know, the non-conference schedule is over, and, you know, now we present the challenges of going into the Big 12 Conference, so we're looking forward to it.
Another guy helping out on the boards today, 8 points for you, 14 rebounds, a career high, 2 points shy of a double-double. How are you so effective on the glass today?
Coach challenged us before the game to get on the rebound, so I was just trying to do whatever I could to help our team. And tonight, that was rebounding.
How cool is it being such a close team?
It's great. Everyone cheers for each other. Everyone wants everyone else to do well. It's great.
I love Mitchell Solomon.
You guys ready for West Virginia?
Yes, ma'am.
Can't wait.
All right, thanks so much, guys.
All right, thanks, Allison, and thanks to the Cowboys who win it this afternoon by the score of 92-70. Phil Forte leads 4 Cowboys in double figures. West Virginia comes into this building in 8 days to tip off the Big 12 campaign. For Brendan Manzer, Allison Gampa, and our entire crew, I'm Mike Wolf saying good afternoon, Merry Christmas from Stillwater, Oklahoma.